Hello everybody! I know it's been a really long time since I've done one of these, but it is incredibly hard to find gaming books. So I know this is an old game, and I know that everything has been out for a really long while, but do you want to know how hard it is to find books that are based on video games? Ones that aren't just Halo and COD? Oh, man, it's hard. And frustrating. And so here we are, a decade late, and over-exaggerating on my behalf, I'm sure, but here we are, and I'm going to post my review of this Far Cry 5 video game novel called Absolution. Now, I'll do my best to keep this spoiler free, and I may end up veering off slightly from the main story to give you a chance to have a read. Some of the things that are in the book, though, are not exactly correct to the game, and I will discuss those briefly in this review. So, in the game, there are several key characters, of course. Some who are guns, or fangs, for hire, who will work alongside you and be just the best people out there. However, there are other characters who can't come with you who are just linchpins of the community. Each of them have their own story. In the Hensbane Valley, it is the Resistance, and the poor mayor, honestly, his death made me so upset. And in the mountains, there's Eli and the Whitetail Militia. His death didn't piss me off so much. And finally, in the Bountiful Valley, with the main city of the county, there is Mary May Fairgrave, the owner of the Spread Eagle Bar, and a woman who has a hard-on for destroying the Peggies. This is her story. Well, her and other couple of key characters in the book, obviously. I was kind of sad that one of the main characters in this book, a Mr. William Boyd, a Peggy, who has been trying to face the horrors of his own life, which now includes the cult that he once serves, is not included in the game. He deserved a place in this game for being an absolute badass and just generally calling everyone out for their bullshit. He does struggle, he is a flawed character, and honestly, he's such a unique person. I was so upset that he wasn't in the game, but as I said, this is a bit of a side note. The book starts off before the beginning of the game, but well after the cult has started to get itself enmeshed incredibly deeply in the county's running. They are buying up farmland, forcing people out of their homes, and making it impossible to live in this county if you aren't a Peggy. Those that stay are either too poor or too stubborn to move and are either suffering at the hands of the cult or joining it to make their lives so much easier. Case in point is Mary May's brother. He joined the cult a while ago, and after their mother's death, their father heads up to the cult compound to go and get him, to at least talk to him and bring him back down for the funeral. As you can imagine, this didn't go well, and he dies. This is the start of our story where Mary May has decided to take it on his mission and go and find her brother. As you can probably tell, this all goes just a little bit wrong. William, while all this is going on, has been living out in the wilds of the church's lands, supplying them with food, hide, and other things that he finds out in the wilds. He rarely comes to town or even to the main compound for anything more than monthly required services, and so he notices before everyone else does that things are going a bit downhill fast. He says that this is because of his rarer visits, that he sees the barbarous nature of his fellow Peggies and the cruelty that they are starting to exhibit against their fellow neighbours. After John Seed asks him to track Mary May through the woods and see what happens to her, he turns on the Peggies. This is a short story in most. A lot of it is filling in some of the blanks of what has been going on in the background. The Peggies are shown to be a little bit more organised than they appear in the game. I know they managed to take over a whole county, but in this book they are actually a constant threat that no one seems to be able to move against, not just people that you can gun down for your own enjoyment in a video game. You either join them, get killed by them, or they have something that they can hold over you that gives them power over you. Not all of this is gained in the most wholesome way, as you can guess. We know that they murder people after the start of the game, but before that, they were technically law-abiding, apart from the fact that people were worried about Jonestown Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is why in the start of the game there is only one marshal and not the National Guard. If they had been killing people left, right and centre, I guarantee you there would have been at least an armed guard for our characters at the start of the game and not just a single idiot causing everyone to go crazy. Can you tell I don't really like the Marshal? The story is competently told, with you occasionally trying to work out who and what has happened to lead to the events of the books. There are some really great examples of the rituals that the game hints of. The tattooing ritual, what it means and how it works. The communion and how the family has twisted it to represent its own values. The description and slow creeping understanding that things are not what they seem draw you in. We learn things at the same time William and Mary do, which allows us to feel like we are there with them in the story and makes things incredibly compelling. However, there are some issues that I did have with this book. Some inconsistencies that the story has with the game that made it a little bit of a frustrating read at certain points. This book, like the beginning of the game, follows along predominantly with John and his members of the church. We all know that John is the youngest of the brothers, the baby of the group, next to Faith of course. However, he is at his oldest late 30s in the game. In the book, he's at least 45, which honestly makes no sense. He also has a maybe she is, maybe she isn't girlfriend, which again is kind of something that isn't considered the best in the game. This one's kind of the biggest one for me, especially when, marriage is seen as such an important thing in the Christian faith, and wedlock, sex outside of wedlock, is considered a sin, and these guys are big on no sins. At no point do you feel that the characters can get their way. You're rooting for them all throughout, knowing that they can't get anywhere because the game's going to happen. This is all brought to a head at the climax of the story when Mary May, William and the good pastor must face down their neighbours in an attempt to survive the night. The ending wasn't what I was honestly expecting, with Mary May ultimately more broken than when we find her in the game, but who knows? Maybe she's just really, really good at hiding it. Overall, if you like the story of Far Cry 5 and can deal with some minor inconsistencies, then I think you'll enjoy the book. Hey, look at me, I managed a mostly spoiler-free review. Go me! Hello everybody, do excuse the terrible mess and the fact that I'm wearing no makeup and look absolutely exhausted. It's been a long weekend and I am still trying to get stuff sorted so that, all this looks really good. Why are you glitching? You're in the right place now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching everybody. I do hope you enjoyed this little video about the Far Cry novelization. I say novelization, it wasn't actually, it's a prequel to the game, which is pretty interesting. And thank you very much to Andy for requesting this one. I do hope that you enjoyed it, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in the next Resident Evil 3 video. Take care, have fun, and goodbye!